Hey guys, welcome back. This is such a wonderful citrusy cake that will surely turn your world upside down. And it is easy to bake too. You just need thinly sliced oranges. You can bake the oranges with or without the peel. In both cases, you will need to slice the fruit nice and thin with the skin on, but remove the seeds as that will make the cake bitter. I baked the cake with the skin on, and no, it did not get bitter at all. The orange slices get cooked through and are almost candied. When you drizzle the finished cake with orange marmalade, the wonderful fresh citrusy flavors come out right through. So let's get cooking. We start off by first making the sugar syrup for the orange rings. For that, put water into a pan along with sugar and bring it to a boil. In the meantime, slice the oranges approximately uh, 3 to 4 millimeter thickness slices, not very thick. Also, when you slice the oranges, make sure that the seeds are taken out, because if the seeds go into the cake, they become very bitter. Now transfer the orange slices into the sugar water, and this is going to be boiled. And when you actually boil them, what happens is the flavor of the bitterness of the orange is actually taken off. It also cooks the orange rind, and it makes it very much easier to eat. So when you bite into the cake, you don't get the bitterness and you don't get the firmness of the skin. It is quite soft, and also because of cooking, it gets slightly caramelized the sugar. It gives a very nice glaze and a very nice flavor. Also, at the same time, you're also flavoring the sugar syrup with orange. To make the cake, we add yogurt into a bowl, add vegetable oil. Any neutral oil is perfectly fine. Orange juice. Now all the wet ingredients go in now at this stage. Vanilla extract also goes in, gives a very nice flavor with the oranges. Whisk it together till you get a very nice smooth homogenized liquid. Now this will be the holding liquid for the cake. But make sure you whisk it well so it becomes little light and fluffy and becomes smooth. When you add in the flour, add the flour into batches. Never add the flour all together. It will tend to form lumps. So a tiny quantity of your flour, your baking soda, your baking powder, literally a pinch of salt. All this goes in now, and you whisk it together till you get like a smooth batter. Now once that is done, then I'm going to add in a little more flour and reserve some at the last. And the reserved flour, you add in your choco nibs or cocoa nibs. Now when you toss your flour along with the chocolate, it coats it gently. Now when you put that inside the batter and you whisk it, the coating prevents the chocolate from breaking down. So this is a very small tip, but a very important tip at the same time. Whisk the batter gently till you get it almost to a flowing consistency. You don't want it too thick, the cake becomes too heavy, so you can always add a little more yogurt if you want to add. Now we take some orange skins and we take out the white part. Now the white part is very bitter, and that will spoil the cake. So take out the white part and slice the orange skins into very thin juliennes or thin slices, very fine, and then we're going to chop it up. So what you're doing here is going to create chopped orange skin, and because they're so tiny and they get interspersed and spread out into the cake mixture, when you bite into the cake, they taste quite nice. The natural oils from the orange skin or the rind gives a very nice flavor to the cake. So all you would get when you eat the cake is a rich, deep orange flavor with a hint of dark chocolate in it. Mix the batter till it's nice and smooth. To bake the cake, you go to first grease a cake tin. I'm using a spring type cake tin. Grease the base and put the butter paper on top of that, and then grease the butter paper and the side quite liberally with oil or butter. At the base on the butter paper, sprinkle sugar, grain sugar. Now when you actually put the grain sugar in, when you cook it, it tends to caramelize and cooks quite nice. So on the top of the cake, you will get a very nice layer of a gloss as such, and also gives a slight caramel flavor to the cake. Arrange the cooked orange rings or slices on top of the sugar. Space them up quite tightly, and as you can see, they are pretty cooked and they're quite fragile, and if you keep it for too long, they would tend to break.
Arrange them all across at the base, and then pour in the cake batter. So that's got your flour, it's got your choco nibs, it's got your vanilla, it's got your orange rind, it's got your yogurt, it's got the oil, it's got the baking powder, the baking soda. All that stuff has been whipped together to form the batter. Tap it gently on the table to remove any air bubbles, and this will go into a preheated oven at 180 degrees centigrade or 350 degrees Fahrenheit for approximately 20 to 25 minutes to cook through. Once it's cooked, brown on top, take it out, and it's time to check. Pierce a thin skewer, and if it comes out clean, means the cake is done. If not, it needs to go back in the oven for another 4 or 5 minutes to cook through. Now to prepare the glaze, I add orange marmalade into the sugar syrup used to poach or cook the orange slices. Because the liquid is still warm, the orange marmalade literally melts through, and what you get is a very nice orange marmalade kind of a glaze or sugar glaze. Unspring the mold, and with the tip of a sharp knife, run it around the edges or the rim of the cake. This helps to demold the cake. Now place the plate on top of the cake tin and invert it, and let's see, fingers crossed, this should come out nice and clean. Tap the top of the cake gently to release it, and here we have lift off. Yes, nice and clean, and you can see the nice brown chocolate melted up. Remove the butter paper, and I'm already salivating looking at the cake. It's got a very nice glaze of the caramelized sugar. I'm going to spoon in a little more of the orange marmalade glaze on top, and the cake is almost ready and done. Let it rest for a couple of minutes for it to absorb the orange glaze, and when done, make sure you cut out a nice big slice for yourself to enjoy. A very simple recipe, eggless, can be made at home, easy to make. Make sure you try it. Cook it for your friends and family. Have it not just for tea time, but even as a dessert after your meal. I promise you, it is absolutely fantastic, absolutely delicious. So make sure you try it and leave your comments in the section below. Bon appetit.